What's going on, YouTube? Uh, Minnesota is looking at suing this administration because they're trying to temporarily hold funds for Medicaid due to fraud concerns. So let's see what JD's talking about.
We're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now, what is this going to mean? What this means is that, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota have actually already been paid. The state has paid those providers the money. What we're doing is we are stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against the American taxpayer. There are a few different ways that we're doing that. There are a few different affirmative actions that we're taking today. Dr. Oz is going to talk about those, but let me talk a little bit about the spirit about.
Hold on. First and foremost, okay. What the fuck is Dr. Oz doing there? That's like I don't. That's just blowing me. That's just blowing me. Number two. So let me get this straight. You're gonna withhold funding that keeps people alive because of fraud that has been going on for centuries in this nation, fraud that has been going on in the federal government. It's just it's very hypocritical, honestly. And I'm not feeling this vibe, honestly. It's just not, you can't not take care of the people of your nation due to concerns of the leadership in your nation. It's just not a equal trade-off.
Of this and why we're doing it. So number one of the examples of fraud that we've seen in Minnesota that we verified that is just awful is that a program that existed to ensure that autistic children had access to some after-school services has made a number of people rich, not by providing services to needy children, but by.
He sold a book when he got in the president, the vice president, and made like $1 billion. Trump made 3.5 billion off of his coin, which is crazy.
Allowing fraudsters to take money that ought by right go to American citizens and to American families and to set up sham businesses, set up sham clients, set up people who are not even autistic but claim
This shouldn't be taken up with the people of the state. It should be taken up with the leadership in the state.
to be autistic.
People in the nation shouldn't lose funding for life-saving healthcare because leadership in the country is incompetent.
In order that they benefit from the money that's out there. Now, what does that mean? Number one, it means that a lot of people are getting rich off the generosity of American taxpayers, but more fundamentally and more importantly than that, it means that there are kids in Minnesota who deserve these services, who need these services, and they're not going to those kids, they're going to fraudsters in Minneapolis. That is unacceptable, and that's the sort of thing that we're cutting off with this action today. Let me make one final point about the spirit of this. You know, one of the things I love about our country is that we're a generous country. We're a generous people. We take care of our fellow citizens who can't afford medical care because they're down on their luck. We take care
No, we don't.
of people who can't afford to put food on the table even though they work hard and play
No, we don't.
by the rules. We
He's lying again to the American people.
recognize that we're all in this together, and part of the reason why we have Medicaid, or part of the reason why we have food stamps, part of the reason why we have these programs is we want to make sure that kids who grow up in families.
So you're punishing a select few people in you're okay, let me get this straight. In response due to a select few people in Minneapolis, embezzling money, committing fraud, waste, and abuse, whatever the thing is, you are now going to punish the entire state of Minnesota. Oh, and these people are low income, they're in poverty situations, they need that assistance from Medicaid, from food stamps to secure their livelihood. I'm just not seeing how you find a few cases in Minneapolis, so the only response that you have is just to cut off funding to every single person in the state. That's just ridiculous.
Not all that different from the family that I grew up in, that they have access to the basic necessities, food, medical care, after
Yes, but so okay, so you know how these people lived and live, and you're still cutting off the funding.
school services when their family needs them, but they're unable to pay. What's happening in Minneapolis, in California, and in
California has nothing to do with it, by the way. He's just bringing it up for no reason. That to me tells me that this is more of a punishment than specifically what's going on in Minneapolis. He should have never said California because it has nothing to do with this situation. California and Minnesota are two completely different states, and you bringing that up, telling me you guys are doing this with ill intention.
a number of states all across our
A number of states, Chicago,
country,
or I'm sorry, Illinois.
is that the generosity and the good hearts of our fellow Americans are being taken advantage of. We're taking that social contract that says that our American citizens, we take care of one another, and we're allowing a few bad actors to get rich off that generosity of spirit instead of providing the
He's part of the cast.
services to the kids who need it. This is
Him and Dr. Oz.
disgraceful. It has happened for too long. Far too many people have gotten rich by taking what is the best of the American spirit and getting rich off of it instead of providing services to kids.
They've been doing this for dozens of years in this nation. What he is talking about, the political corruption, the political theater, the men in suits standing up talking to people, these are the people who are robbing the nation blind, by the way.
Who need it. That is stopping today. We're taking a whole of government approach in the Trump administration to take this fraud seriously. What Mehmet Oz and his team at CMS have done is really remarkable.